Artist in residence with Ode to Art Gallery in Singapore, Ronnie Ford is a landscape artist with an enduring passion for colour and texture.
I created my first textured paintings when I was 15 years of age. My teacher gave me a set of acrylic paints to try out. Acrylics were relatively new. They had just started to be sold commercially. I decided to see what the paints could do. So I put wood and sand and cloth and string, even pieces of fishing net into the painting. I was testing the limits of this exciting new material to create a 3D painting of a fishing boat. I still have the painting today, still intact some 40 years later, proof of the durability of acrylic paint.
At Glasgow School of Art, Ronnie decided to major in sculpture as it gave him the challenge of working in 3 dimensions, as well as the opportunity to paint as much as he wished. It was from this training that he came to create and develop the marriage of sculpture and painting, which he now calls texture-scapes. His current works are now inspired by his world travels, and in particular, his love affair with France. Born in Scotland, land of misty lochs and majestic mountains, he spent a few years of his early childhood in northern Rhodesia, where his father worked as a wildlife photographer and cinema owner. Ronnie recalls the impression the African colours imprinted on his mind.
I remember the rich red earth, the dazzling textured blue of the jacaranda trees, the density of the wide blue skies above, the dazzling hues in the bright patterns of the native costumes against shining black skin. Playing amongst the elephant grass, chasing beautiful butterflies gave me a strong sense of the colours of nature. Colours never to be experienced in Scotland.
Ronnie's love of landscape developed further in his later childhood, when, in semi-rural Scotland, he spent all his leisure moments indulging in the boyhood adventures the woodlands had to offer, and combing the seashores of his hometown, surrounded by mountains and mist. This provided the inspiration for his earlier works.
For 20 years, my wife and I had a second home in the southwest of France, in the very heart of sunflower country, and we used it as a base to explore the landscape further afield. In different seasons, we are treated to different wonders, seas of poppies blending into a red haze on the horizon, the almost blinding brightness of the rapeseed in the spring, apple and cherry blossoms for miles, the golden lines of harvested wheat fields in autumn, and the magnificent lavender fields of Provence. It is impossible not to be inspired by what is nothing less than an artist's paradise.
When inspiration strikes, Ronnie takes photographs of the scene from many angles. Sometimes he sketches on the spot. Sometimes he waits till he returns home to sketch what details remain in his memory. Often he will leave the idea to nestle in his subconscious for some time before deciding when it's time to create the scene on canvas. The sketches will form the basis of the idea, while he surrounds himself with the photographs in order to recall the colours which attracted him to the particular landscape in the first place. Often he'll recompose as he works into the canvas, without drawing or outlining, using only his intuition to create the final composition. His aim is not to create a photographic image of a place, but to capture its essence.
In most cases, my paintings begin with the sky. I've created my own special colour mixes, which for me portray the perfect and different moods of those wide French skies. Working forward to the sea, then the land, I lay down the underpainting and textures and layers, then start layering colours to achieve the light and shade, form and depth I require. Finally, the details. The top layer of colours give the landscape its glow. All that remains is to sign. My signature is not an ego trip. It is subtly blended into the scene. Many of my paintings contain yet another signature, the 2 cypress trees, one tall, one small, This is a symbol of my wife Carol and myself, always together, never apart. My aim is for the viewer to become lost in a journey through the landscape. If you find peace and calm within my paintings, I have achieved my goal.
Ronnie Ford's paintings can be seen in Hong Kong and Singapore, represented by Ode to Art, Singapore.